All right. So, gluttony, purging, and starvation of a system. Let's go ahead and go through these and kind of hit the high points and kind of get an idea. The United States is still in a phase of gluttony. Most of us are fat, or at least overweight. I know I am, by about 30 pounds or so. And I was going to make it purely on that, but that's too self-indulgent. But anyway, the system is still gluttonous. It's overweight. It's been stuffed with pastries and, Mountain Dew and all these other sorts of, mostly it is sugar that is, made us into these, folks who can barely waddle ourselves out the door. What's going to occur and is already occurring is a purge of that system. The Mountain Dew, the Coca-Cola, the sugary snacks are going to disappear. The pastries that, you have, or the whatever, the cup of soup, cup of noodles, whichever. Insert your own mass-produced, food item, and that will be purged from the system. Like I say, I live in Texas, so of course this is beef country. It's not going to go away. I live right down the road from a place that, it's pretty much a town known for dairy farming. So I don't think that's going to go away. It's going to be more of a localist sort of thing. But I think that the purge of these things to a point will be good, and people will end up losing weight. Hopefully, at least after 2 or 3 generations. But what will occur is going to be starvation, because people aren't used to the sort of, simplified networks that, used to exist. And so that will occur. The starvation will set in and people will expire because of it. And I definitely think that this is, what's going to happen with the system as a whole. The highway network, the railway system, the various routes used by aircraft are going to be shortened, and eventually just some parts will be no longer used. This is just, part of the catabolic collapse that people like John Michael Greer have talked about. I'm up in the book where he's talking more about the specific politics of it. He does mention ethnicity and all that sort of thing, but ultimately ethnicity, I don't think. This is something I disagree with. There will be ethnic conflicts, and I think he does mention that, but he tries to give sort of a lib response where it's like, the neighbors are working together and whatnot. Yeah, but a lot of propaganda will come out against honkies, and the Hispano black folk split will occur. That's going to be a big one. And Asians, well, where are Asians going to go? That's a matter of opinion, but he mentions it and uses historical context about like the Visigoths and whatnot. So he's a little bit weak on that, at least in this book. But I definitely think that's what's going to occur. A localized system is going to, be there. It's like if you live in Louisiana, especially if you live, on the Gulf Coast, yeah, you're still going to be eating gator. You're going to be more sparing about it, but yeah, you're going to be eating gator. If you're living, and shrimp and everything else, right? Gumbo. But it's going to be much more of a rare thing. There was a time when, you know, you only had turkey at Thanksgiving. And we're going to be going back to that time. You don't have just a turkey sandwich at whatever sandwich shop, at your local Subway or your, I'm trying to think of the name of the places, but, fancier places. I was trying to think of the name of it. Sandwiches near me. Let me see here. I'm going to be a boomer here for a moment. Jason's Deli. There we go. I couldn't think of the name, but yeah, Jason's Deli. Fancier places like that. I say this is somebody who ate 5 hamburgers just a couple of days ago, and I just felt like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? Is the purge will be necessary? Yeah, it'll hurt. But I definitely think that it will help future generations to be healthier people. And not just drinking, Dr. Pepper or whatever sort of thing. I try to avoid soda as much as I can nowadays. I give in sometimes with maybe ginger ale, which pretty much is soda at this point. Let's be honest. You can go ahead and lie to yourself as much as you want, but my point is that it will occur, and simply some places will just it just won't happen. The infrastructure just isn't there. What John Michael Greer has talked about a lot in this book, Dark Age America, is just saying is that the maintenance costs will be too much. And the maintenance costs will continue to rise, and it won't be worth, even though there are plenty of Coca-Cola bottling plants all around the country, is that are people really gonna, send, let that formula get out and let them? I don't think it will. Become much more smaller thing. Obviously, Coca-Cola, I think, was, Pemberton started out in Atlanta, right? I'm doing some typing to figure out where is Coca-Cola's headquarters now. Are they still in? Okay, they're still in Atlanta. Okay, they're still in Atlanta. So maybe a Georgia thing. Now, of course, who knows if they have all the ingredients and whatnot? It'll probably be a different sort of thing. Like I said, I'm trying to look at this in a pragmatic way. It's easy to think and to be simple-minded and focus on the issues of the day and talk about Drumpf or talk about, my midterms and whatnot. And I keep an eye on that stuff, but I think that we have to look beyond that. Look at a bigger picture. Not necessarily the big picture, but a bigger picture. And look at the infrastructure of it all. And trying to be realistic. Things are just going to be much more scarce. And I think that things are going to be more genuinely communal. Nowadays, of course, you have your McDonald's. You can go and have your burgers and fries while you sit in your car, your air-conditioned car for a little bit. Maybe you're busy, running calls or something like that. It's like an HVAC guy, and you just need a quick bite. So you get the 2 cheeseburgers or something like that, and you keep on going. That lifestyle is going to change, probably for the better. This whole stressed out sort of 24-hour system, I don't think will exist the same way. I think it'll be more of a slower pace, which I think is good in a certain way. I think, capitalism's created this 24/7 world where it's just like being on call all the time and being available, waiting on hand and foot for whatever thing, whether, you work in an apartment complex or whether you're, refrigeration guy or whatever. That may change in time. I think this will be a good thing. I do. So I think that I've tried to paint this as more of a food situation, but you can serve it as many different ways. The gluttony and the spoiledness of the idea that you can be there within 30 minutes or something like that. Same thing with pizza delivery guys or whatever. And we've been bought, we've been told and we've been sold the idea that, the efficiency and all this sort of thing. It's amazing to me that the people who will complain about Amazon, but then will praise automation and say, oh, automation will save everything. These people ultimately don't know what they're fighting against. They have no idea, in my opinion. Automation is part of that. Like I say, I'm going to hold out before I start making my opinions known about automation and what automation will even look like. But it's like, it's a false notion to me that used to be promoted by like Peter Kaufman. Now, people like Voss have done it as well. Is that, automation under capitalism is bad, but automation under socialism is good. And I'm just like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But anyway, beyond my rants and raves and whatnot, I just don't believe that will all be solved. So ultimately, that's my opinion on that sort of thing. The starvation, I think, of the system, of this whole sort of, the frozen food and everything else like that we have because it's easier than going over to Long John Silver's or whatever. It's going to be difficult. And yeah, the starvation will occur. But I think that regional warlords and whatnot will have to be like, hey, what do we do for a food supply? Let's get it straight. We're going to ration the hell out of it. This is what everyone's going to get. You better be happy with it, or else, we're going to put you back in line, or you're going to disappear. Right? So I think that's what's going to occur. But I feel like it's important to say, and I also want to do this just more as a penance, to realize that I'm just as gluttonous as anybody else. When you look at a half-empty carton of ice cream, you're just like, yeah, I'm just, I don't need dinner. Ugh, ooh, it's awful to think about because you're just like, oh man, because you know what's going to happen with your body, and you're just like, oh my goodness, ugh. Anywho, I think that's all I got. Just try to eat less. That's what I'm trying to do now. Realizing I just finally woke up to the fact it's like, holy shit, I'm 30 pounds overweight now, aren't I? Holy shit. And it just kind of opened up a whole other avenue. Like I said, I do want to make a disclaimer here before I end this. I should have done this at the beginning, but screw it. Is don't take any of this as like, oh, this is definitely what's going to happen. No. These are my meditations on it through reading John Michael Greer and just my own thoughts. Don't take it as gospel. Don't take it as, oh my gosh, no. A lot of people that do that, a lot of people do that because they make money off it. Me, I don't. I'm just some random guy who's just ultimately just spouting stuff and seeing what hits the wall or what sticks. Anyway, that's all I got. See you later. Goodbye.